right, my peeps, we were talking about the show The Golden Girls. I got all the inside deets for it. I'm even wearing my shirt. Let's get started. Right off the bat, I want to tell you, when they first wrote this pilot for the show, they offered a role to Angela Lansbury to be one of the Golden Girls. She turned it down because her agent had advised her that she should hold out for something that had more drama to it. This was a comedy. And after she turned it down, not much later did they offer her Murder, She Wrote. Also, Elaine Stritch came in to audition for one of the Golden Girls. This is her. Remember her? Yeah. So, most of the writers and all liked her, but there was one writer in particular who wasn't really fond of her, so she asked if she could do an improv. She did an improv as her audition, dropped the F-bomb during her improv, and then they thought that she was just too vulgar to be one of the Golden Girls. So for casting, when they were looking for Dorothy, they actually put in the description they were looking for a B. Arthur-esque person. I'll spell for you, it sounds weird. They were looking for B. Arthur, and they found her. She really didn't want to do it. She was very hesitant and had said no at first. So one of the reasons was she felt like the character was very close to Maude, and she didn't want to do the same character again. And also, if you remember on Maude, Rue McClanahan was on Maude, and she played Vivian, the very naive Vivian, right? So she was cast for one of the Golden Girls, but she wasn't cast as Blanche. She was cast as Rose, the naive Rose. B. Arthur was like, this is just too close to Maude. She didn't want to do it. Simultaneously, Betty White was cast as Blanche. I know you can't see it, right? Well, think back to when she was on Mary Tyler Moore. She played Sue Ann. And do you remember she was like man crazy and all that stuff? Just like Blanche. So what happened was Betty White and Rue McClanahan switched roles. And that's how she became Blanche and Betty White became Rose. And after they switched roles and B. Arthur had thought about it, she accepted the role as Dorothy on The Golden Girls. Now they did not intend to have 4 Golden Girls. Sophia was supposed to be a character, but not a permanent character, not on all the time. However, when they did the test audience for it, people loved Sophia. So Estelle Getty got the part, and it became a full-time part. There's not one episode where not all 4 of them are in it. So she became a staple. Incidentally, Estelle Getty was Jewish. So is B. Arthur. So she had asked them, she said, instead of me playing an Italian mother from Sicily, can I play a Jewish mother? But they had it written that she was an Italian mother, and they wanted to keep it that way. I thought she played a really great Italian lady. Estelle Getty wasn't as old as the person she played. Did you know that she was actually a year younger in real life than B. Arthur and Betty White? They were 63. She was a year younger. Rue McClanahan was 51 when that show premiered. 51. That always gets me. Gets me because I'm 55. So their very first episode, when it aired, they had more than 25 million viewers and beating The Cosby Show for that time slot, which was at the time crazy because The Cosby Show was untouchable. Jumping back to Sophia for a second. So after season 1, Sophia, Estelle Getty in real life, got plastic surgery. And it just horrified the makeup crew because they already had to try to make her look older, and then she got plastic surgery so she looked even younger. So it was very unsettling. Now, as for the cast and the chemistry on set, it was amazing, right? Behind the scenes, B. Arthur did not like Betty White. Betty White has said it in many interviews. She did not like Rue McClanahan. She didn't hate them. She just didn't like them that much. I don't even know how to sugarcoat it because I hate hearing this because I love this show so much. But like Rue McClanahan had said, she would say, let's go to lunch to B. Arthur. And B. Arthur said, well, who's going? I'll go if Betty White's going and Estelle Getty's going. Or she would not go to lunch by herself with Rue McClanahan. Betty White has said that things that would aggravate B. Arthur on set would be one, Betty White's a very bubbly person, was a very bubbly person. And she would be very energetic on set. B. Arthur hated that. She said the happier I was, the more miserable she was. Yeah, I do not like hearing all this. She also said that in between takes, or if there was a break, or if they were moving like something on the set, and there was a little bit of a lull, Betty White would mingle with the audience, make friends, talk to them. B. Arthur would either stay in her spot or go backstage. She hated that Betty White did that. Even when the show finally wrapped after 7 years, she did not have really any contact with them other than the required times that she had to appear, like if it was awards or whatever, as one of the Golden Girls. Other than that, that was it. She kind of broke ties with them. That was so sad because the only 2 that were actually really friends off set was Rue McClanahan and Betty White. I think it's also very cute is that Betty White and Rue McClanahan, they both love puzzles and riddles and all stuff like that. So the bulletin board that's in the kitchen, they would often leave riddles for each other on that bulletin board. I thought that was a cool little tidbit. B. Arthur, one, she did not have pierced ears, okay? So she has been quoted as saying that by the end of the day of taping, her ears were killing her because they used to put those gigantic clip-on earrings on her because she didn't have pierced ears. She hated shoes. So in her contract was that she could walk barefoot until the scene required her to wear shoes. So she was always barefoot on set. She also had to promise or sign something that she wouldn't sue them if she stepped on something barefoot. Rue McClanahan had in her contract that every outfit that Blanche wore, she got to keep. But she had 13 closets with clothes from the Golden Girls. Isn't that crazy? During 7 seasons of the Golden Girls, they ate 100 cheesecakes. And incidentally, B. Arthur hates cheesecake. It could have been why she was a little cranky on set. So Blanche, the Southern belle, you know, that was man crazy and all that stuff, she wasn't supposed to have a Southern accent. But she threw that in. She thought it would work, and it did. I thought this was an interesting fact that I found out about B. Arthur. B. Arthur was one of the first women to enlist, and I think I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong, the Marine Corps Women's Reserves. This was 1943. She made it to the rank of Staff Sergeant before she left the Marines. Also, the theme song that we love, the producers wanted a different song. Did you know that? I can't imagine. Did you know that Estelle Getty, did you know that Estelle Getty had massive stage fright? Massive. She would forget lines. She had so much stage fright. And Estelle Getty said what had made that worse was that she was working with these powerhouse actresses, and it intimidated her very much. She was not nearly as experienced as them, so that even made it worse for her, she said. But as time went on, the very last couple seasons, I guess, Estelle Getty started having a lot of trouble remembering her lines. They had to give her cue cards. It wasn't because of her stage fright now at this time, because one, she had very bad osteoporosis, and they also thought she had Parkinson's disease. After further diagnosis, after the show ended, they found out that it was Lewy body dementia. And that affects many, many things. Memory is one of them. And yeah, so she had that. So in 1992, B. Arthur finally had decided that she was done. She didn't want to do it anymore. And they called it quits on the Golden Girls. They decided that they would do a spin-off, the Golden Palace. Now, Rue McClanahan was not really for it. She thought that they should just get another roommate rather than do the spin-off. But they decided they didn't want to fill that role. So they decided to do the spin-off, and it didn't last. It didn't do well. And they all went their separate ways. I will say that Rue McClanahan and Betty White, they stayed friends. B. Arthur, that was it for her. She was done. The only time she talked to them was if it was they were obligated to appear on different things as the Golden Girls, say it was in awards or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of sad. So I don't like always doing these things because I really thought that they were like that in real life. I wanted to believe that, but yeah. All right, but I want to end on something cute. So Estelle Getty, before she auditioned for the Golden Girls, she went shopping and she found that little straw purse. So that was her purse. It wasn't Sophia's purse. It was her purse. She, I guess, thought it would help her with the audition. And that purse stayed with her. Everybody remembers her little straw purse, right? But yeah, that was her purse. So I thought that was cute too. All right, so that's the inside deets on the show, The Golden Girls.